The movie kicks off with a calm, dramatic narration about two absolutely horrible people known as the Twits. These two are the worst kind of couple you could ever imagine, and apparently, they were left to die. But here's the twist. That whole thing is actually a bedtime story being told by a mom to her son, Sam. Sam immediately interrupts her, like, "Wait, you're seriously starting my bedtime story with the main characters dying?" His mom just laughs and says, "Well, you're the one who keeps asking for stories that are emotionally complex." Sam rolls his eyes. He doesn't want something boring. But his mom promises this isn't your regular bedtime story, because the Twits aren't your regular people. So, she begins. The Twits are a couple who literally hate everything, especially each other. They've been married for 47 long, miserable years, and not a single day has gone by without them pulling some disgusting, mean prank on one another. But the thing is, no matter how hateful someone is, there's always something they love. And for the Twits, that one thing was their backyard amusement park, Twitlandia. They built it themselves, full of weird rides, twisted attractions, and disgusting fun. It was the only thing that brought them any joy, the one thing they truly cared about. They wanted the whole world to see their masterpiece. So, they ran ads on TV, hoping crowds would show up. But the truth? The whole world didn't care. Still, two kids, a pair of orphans named Bisha and Bubsy, saw that commercial. Bubsy was immediately hooked. He loved everything crazy and weird, and Twitlandia looked like his dream come true. Bisha wasn't so sure, but she made a promise to him. She'd take him there before he leaves her forever next week. Bubsy's about to get adopted, and she wants him to have one last great memory together. So, when Twitlandia's grand opening day comes, the Twits are thrilled. Finally, after all their work, their first visitor arrives. But instead of excited families or kids, it's a police officer. He tells them their entire park is a disaster, unsafe, unsanitary, and completely condemned. He shuts the whole place down. The Twits are crushed. It's like their baby got taken away. But instead of giving up, they decide to take revenge, and not just on the city, but on everyone in it. Meanwhile, back at the orphanage, Bisha is helping Bubsy record a goodbye video for when he leaves. She asks him to share his favorite memory from the Triarat orphanage. Bubsy grins and says it was the time she made him laugh so hard that the potato he had stuffed up his nose flew right into her milk. They both laugh, but then weird noises echo outside. When they go to check it out, they see Mr. Napkins, the director of their orphanage, freaking out. A swarm of something thick and slimy, like living hot dog meat, is flowing through the streets, about to swallow him whole. Bisha rushes in and saves him before he can drown in the goo. He's so grateful, thanking her over and over for saving his life. Turns out, this disgusting chaos is exactly what the Twits wanted. Their prank worked perfectly. The whole city's water has been contaminated with that liquid hot dog sludge. The news reports start rolling in, showing angry citizens complaining about how they're supposed to survive in a city filled with poison pipes. But when a reporter tries to sound hopeful, saying, "They can blow up our water tank, but they can't blow up our spirit," the Twits lose it. They're offended. They think the city deserved this after shutting their park down. And since no one's giving them credit, they come up with an even nastier idea. They'll blow up the butts of everyone in town next. Meanwhile, Bubsy's big adoption day finally arrives. He meets his new parents, and he's glowing with happiness. This is all he's ever wanted, a real family. But just when he thinks it's finally happening, things take a sharp turn. The couple pulls Director Napkins aside and quietly admits they've changed their minds. They saw on the news how parts of the city are still contaminated with hot dog sludge. They even saw footage of the orphans drinking from those pipes. They can't risk adopting a contaminated kid. It's just too expensive and risky for them. Bubsy is heartbroken. Napkins tries to comfort him, saying another family will come along, but nothing helps. Bisha tries to stay positive, telling him she can feel that someone amazing will find him soon. Bubsy looks at her and says, "You always take care of everyone, but who takes care of you?" She smiles sadly. "I'm 12, she says. "I don't need anyone to take care of me." But deep down, she's not okay with how cruel the world's become. So, she makes up her mind. She's not going to wait for someone else to fix it. She's going to find whoever contaminated the city and bring them down herself. Later, she spots the Twits from her window, stealing some weird chemicals. Immediately, she knows something's up. She grabs Bubsy, and together they sneak out to the Twits' creepy house that night. The place looks straight out of a nightmare, dark, twisted, the kind of house where you just know bad things happen. Bisha knocks on the door, and suddenly the Twits burst out with weapons in hand. Bisha quickly lies, saying they came to visit Twitlandia. The Twits whisper to each other, thinking the kids don't know the park's been shut down. But Bisha and Bubsy aren't there for fun, they're there to investigate. While chatting, the Twits accidentally brag about being the ones who dumped the hot dog liquid into the city's water system as revenge. That's all Bisha needs. She and Bubsy try to quietly slip out, but the exits are nowhere to be found. Instead, they stumble upon 3 animals locked inside a filthy cage. And somehow, the kids can understand what the animals are saying. The creatures, a monkey family, introduce themselves: little Mandy Mugglewump, her mother Mary, and her father Marty. They explain they've been trapped here for years. The Twits use them for something horrible: their tears. Before they can say more, the Twits storm back in, shouting at the kids to get away from the animals. They reveal they stole the creatures from a place called Loom Holland. Whenever the monkeys cry upside down, their tears become magical, and those tears are what power Twitlandia's rides. Bisha is disgusted and calls them evil. But the Twits just grin and threaten to toss the kids into a pie and eat them for dinner. The terrified kids manage to get away, and as they run, Bisha tells Bubsy she secretly recorded everything the Twits said. That recording is their golden ticket, solid evidence to get the Twits arrested and free the animals. That night, the police raid the Twits' house and arrest them for contaminating the city. Bisha and Bubsy rush inside to grab the key and finally free the Mugglewump family. Everything seems over, until morning. At the city prison, the Twits are stunned when they hear they've been bailed out. They walk outside to find the entire town cheering for them, calling them heroes. Both the Twits and little Sam, the boy hearing the story, are completely confused. Sam asks his mom, "Wait, why would anyone cheer for those two?" His mom explains. She says their city, Triarat, used to be a famous vacation spot, the fun capital of the world. But when their lake dried up, tourists vanished, businesses collapsed, and everyone was desperate for hope. So when people saw the Twits on the news, ranting about how their dream park could have saved the city, they actually believed them. That's why they were bailed out. The townspeople think Twitlandia can make Triarat great again. The Twits, of course, play along. They promise if everyone invests $1,000, they'll make the city $1 billion in return. A little girl in the crowd whispers to her parents that it sounds like a scam, but they just tell her she's too young to understand dreams. Later that night, the Twits are back home celebrating. Mrs. Twit serves her husband spaghetti, except it's not pasta, it's worms. But instead of getting mad, he finds it romantic. They even lean in for a kiss, before both collapse to the ground in exhaustion. Bisha and Bubsy, hiding nearby, can't believe their eyes. How are these psychos out of jail already? Bubsy whispers. The Twits mumble about being tired and use their remote control to summon their bed right to where they are, because yeah, these two are that lazy. So, their massive bed starts flying through the house, moving toward them wherever they are. And guess who's on that bed? Yep, Bisha and Bubsy. As the bed descends through the floors of the house, the kids barely manage to roll off and hide underneath it before it lands. The Twits flop down onto the mattress and almost instantly start snoring, farting, and burping like wild animals. The smell in there must be deadly. Trying not to gag, Bisha spots something shiny stuck in Mr. Twit's filthy beard. It's the key. Carefully, she reaches up and snatches it without waking them. Just as they're sneaking out, the Twits stir awake after hearing a loud noise. Bisha and Bubsy sprint for their lives, racing to free the animals before they're caught. But just as they reach the cage, the Twits come charging after them, furious and screaming. In a split second, Bisha unlocks the cage and frees the Mugglewumps, escaping just in time. They all bolt straight to the orphanage and slam the door behind them. Bisha yells to Mr. Napkins, "Whatever you do, don't open that door for the Twits." But of course he does. The poor guy's terrified and doesn't want trouble, so when the Twits knock, he lets them in. Inside, the kids warn everyone about what's coming. Every orphan in the house is terrified, but Bisha quickly takes charge. She tells them to grab cardboard, crayons, whatever they can find, and start working on her plan. Meanwhile, the Twits are confronting Mr. Napkins, ranting about how Bisha and Bubsy stole their magical animals whose tears power Twitlandia. Napkins just stares blankly, he has no clue what they're talking about. Annoyed, the Twits rip off his watch and even his clothes, then kick him out of the building half naked into the street. Now, with Napkins gone, they storm into the kids' room, but the orphans have already gone into hiding, waiting for Bisha's signal. When the Twits step right where she wants them, Bisha triggers her trap. The floor gives way beneath them, and both Twits go tumbling out of the building straight into a swamp of that disgusting hot dog liquid. Instead of getting mad, they pop back up laughing. They're actually impressed. "Brilliant trick," they yell. Then they ask to talk to Bisha, saying they've got a special offer. Bisha doesn't trust them one bit. She comes out anyway, holding a fire extinguisher just in case. The Twits smile in their creepy way and tell her they'd like to adopt her. All she has to do is return their magical animals so they can reopen Twitlandia and become one big happy family. Bisha shoots them down instantly. She says her real parents are coming back for her soon. The Twits laugh coldly. They know that's a lie. They admit they were dumped in an orphanage too when they were little, and nobody ever came back for them. They try to twist her emotions, but she's done listening. She blasts them with the fire extinguisher, sending them flying. The orphans cheer and throw a mini party with the Mugglewumps to celebrate their victory. But while everyone's dancing, Bisha just sits quietly. She can't shake the sadness in her heart. Seeing that, the animals pull her into the fun, making her smile for the first time in a while. Still, the Twits aren't done yet. While the kids are celebrating, those two are already plotting their next evil move. The next morning, the orphans switch on the TV, and boom, there it is. The Twits are running for mayor. Bisha laughs, thinking it's just another ridiculous stunt. No one's dumb enough to vote for them, she says. But she's wrong. On TV, the Twits are playing the crowd like total con artists. They tell everyone that Bisha and Bubsy stole the magical animals, the very creatures that make Twitlandia run. They promise that if they're elected mayors, they'll get the animals back, rebuild the park, and make everyone in Triarat billionaires. The crowd goes wild. People are cheering, clapping, totally buying the lie. One little kid looks at her parents like, "Are you serious right now?" But they just smile and say she's too young to understand. Bisha storms into the public debate, trying to set things straight. She shouts that the Twits are lying, that they're the real villains. But the Twits are slick. They twist her words, turning the entire crowd against her. Within minutes, everyone's blaming her for the city's problems. Crushed and humiliated, Bisha walks home in tears. At the orphanage, Mama Mugglewump finds her and gently treats her scrapes. She asks, "Why do you think you have to fix everything all by yourself?" That's when Bisha finally breaks down. She admits she stays up at night thinking about everything she hasn't fixed, how she hasn't helped Bubsy get adopted, how she hasn't stopped the Twits, how she's failed to make the world kinder. She says maybe, if she could prove she's really worth something, her parents might hear about her and want her back. Mama Mugglewump listens quietly and says, "Did you ever think maybe they left you here because they loved you? Maybe they wanted you safe. And you already have people who love you, right here." She makes Bisha promise never to take on the world alone again. That night, little Mandy Mugglewump tells everyone that her parents are from Loom Holland, a dangerous, violent island. Mama Mugglewump then sings a soft lullaby, her voice echoing through the orphanage. The song talks about how life can be nasty and short, but in dreams you're safe and free. Slowly, all the kids drift off to sleep. But morning brings chaos. Bisha wakes up to loud banging outside. The Twits are out there, throwing trash and junk at the orphanage walls, screaming that they've just been elected mayors. They officially declare war on the orphanage. Bisha tells the Mugglewumps to escape through the roof, but they refuse. "You were there for us," Mama Mugglewump says. "We're not leaving you behind." She believes if they all work together, they can beat the Twits once and for all. Soon, the Twits rally the entire town, leading a mob straight toward the orphanage. People are smashing windows, throwing stones, it's pure chaos. But inside, Papa Mugglewump unleashes his secret weapon. He spits out thousands of tiny glowing balls that explode like popcorn, blasting the townspeople back. The orphans and animals fight side by side, managing to scare the attackers away. But the Twits themselves keep coming. Just as they reach the door, Mr. Napkins shows up out of nowhere, furious and fearless, and sprays them both right in the face with pepper spray. They scream and stumble back, humiliated, then jump into their car and speed off. But of course, they're not done. Later that night, they plan one final evil move, a trap that's guaranteed to work. As Bisha stands watch, she suddenly gets a phone call. It's Mr. Napkins. His voice sounds excited and shaky. He tells her he's with her parents, yes, her real parents, at the bowling alley, and they're desperate to see her. Her heart races. Without thinking twice, she grabs her skateboard and races across town. When she arrives at the empty bowling alley, her excitement turns to confusion. There's no one there. Then she hears a slow, mocking clap. The Twits step out of the shadows, laughing. "Gotcha," they sneer. She's fallen right into their trap. They lock her inside the building and take off toward the orphanage with their mob. With help from the townspeople, they literally carry the entire orphanage building away, hauling it back to Twitlandia. When Bisha finally breaks free and returns, she sees it's gone. The place she called home, the people she loved, all taken. She sinks to her knees, heartbroken. She blames herself for everything. Then, a little frog hops up beside her and croaks gently, "Bubsy and everyone at the orphanage, they're your family too. Family isn't just blood. It's who cares about you, who treats you with love and kindness." Those words hit her hard. And in that moment, Bisha wipes her tears. If the Twits hurt her family, she's going to hurt them back. At Twitlandia's big reopening party, the Twits are celebrating their victory, surrounded by cheering townsfolk. But in the shadows, Bisha and her allies are ready. She sends the frog to slip them a little gift, a temporary poison that makes them dizzy and confused. As they stumble around, Bisha sneaks in with the orphans and animals. They could just escape, but she has a better idea. "Let's give them a taste of their own medicine," she says. Together, they set up one last big trap. The dizzy Twits start ranting on stage, and in their haze, they accidentally confess everything. How they fooled the entire city, how they lied about everything. The crowd gasps. Then, as the Twits try to run, they step right into the kids' sticky gum trap, flipping upside down. The once feared Twits are now dangling helplessly like bats. But Bisha isn't cruel. After everything, she and the others decide to let them go. They untie them and say they forgive them, not for the Twits' sake, but for their own peace. For a second, it almost looks like the Twits are touched. Maybe there's a tiny spark of humanity in them. But of course, it doesn't last. They immediately start chasing after the kids again, yelling and tripping over themselves. And that's how this wild, hilarious, and oddly touching story comes to an end. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you're into crazy animation stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stick around. We've got tons more wild adventures coming your way. Bye.